Hi everybody, and welcome to today, episode 5 of the Spirituality at Work vlog, brought to you, I was about to say brought to you from the hoovered side of my sitting room, as I sometimes say, but actually neither side got hoovered, but hopefully the flip chart will save me here today. But today I want to talk about organisational citizenship. Now, a recent McKinsey report showed that around 40% of respondents were at least somewhat likely to change jobs in the coming months. Now, these numbers are remaining really high in what's been called the great attrition, the great reshuffle, or what I'm calling the existential exit. And clearly people are really valuing and putting a lot more value on their time and their home lives and their personal lives, and demanding more of employers. And in response, certainly employers are working on their employer brand and trying to offer more flexibility, and jobs that offer kind of remote working are getting huge numbers of respondents, way more than ever before, a huge number of applicants. But we obviously need to be looking at this turnover intention much earlier on, so that we're kind of, whether we're kind of a HR manager, whether you're a talent manager, or an individual in a company, we need to be catching ourselves or catching other people, and listening to what their needs are much earlier on before it's too late. And this is where spiritual climate comes into play. We've done a lot of work and got a lot better, as I've always mentioned, in terms of kind of talking about mental health awareness and speaking about mental health and mindfulness. But a lot of the teachings from those workshops seem to have kind of stayed in the notebooks, because the underlying cultures of companies haven't necessarily changed. In some they have, but in a lot they haven't. And it really, really is important that we talk about a whole scale, organisational overhaul. And in a recent TEDx talk, I spoke about the idea of stress management programs being replaced by compassion programs and compassion education. And what I mean by that is that, of course, we will need to be able to continue to educate ourselves and each other on how to manage stress in ourselves. But there will be a new focus on responsibility. We talk a lot about rights, but there's also responsibilities that are put on each of us. And that's a great thing, because it means that we have a place in the company, in the team, in the organisation, and we have a sense of input and mattering, and our voice can be heard. So responsibility isn't a negative word, it's a great thing. And we need to be also carrying a responsibility for ourselves in terms of how much stress we are putting on other people. Are we causing stress? Are we causing a disconnect from meaning for the people that we perhaps give work to? Are we causing fearfulness around us? Are we causing a mood around us? And whatever it might be, so that we're realizing that we all have a responsibility in terms of our role, that isn't just about the kind of the job description. And in terms of improving organisational culture and organisational citizenship, we need to be looking at both rights and responsibilities, and also growing individuation, and then also collective contribution. And these are things that are really, really important to our spiritual and mental and indeed physical well-being. So I think just about all of you are familiar with Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And in it, Maslow spoke about the basic needs or the deficiency needs of the physiological needs. And then there was the safety needs, the love and belonging needs. As we went up, they kind of went from deficiency needs into growth needs. And then it was self-esteem, and then self-actualization. And a lot of people think that self-actualization was the top of the pyramid that he talked about. This was where we were kind of, fully fledged human beings. But actually in his later work, he talked a lot about transcendence. This is where it goes from being kind of within the kind of the skin, as it were, of the hierarchy, to our connection with what is outside of ourselves, be that a higher power for some people, or just other people or nature, whatever it might be. Transcendence. never great at writing on a board. But transcendence. So, and he did write a bit on this, but he never really got to develop his theory completely. But it's really, really important, because a lot of people kind of say, especially if they've done a mindfulness course, and they talk, well, is it bad to have ego? Or should I be developing myself, or should I be just looking outward? But we all really want to be pillars holding up the collective good. So kind of and that's what we want to get from work, and work can give it to us. It's a great place to get it. That sense of I matter and I have a role in the greater good. So it's going from, I'm mixing a couple of theories here, but it's going from that kind of sense of individuation and growing myself and my own talents and skills and strengths towards the greater good and in service of something more than myself. So we need to balance that sense of rights, responsibilities, individuation, and collective contribution. So I leave you with some of those thoughts, and just to kind of even just consider where are you in your organizational citizenship, and how does it sit with you? Because we all are the power in terms of making this change. It isn't kind of like at logo level. It's about how we treat everybody in our next conversation and our next telephone call, and so on. So just kind of leaving you with those thoughts. I hope they're helpful and they stimulate some more ideas for you. Do let me know if they do. I know a few people emailed me, and thank you for your comments. And one or two people did actually ask me to go back to, I've done quotes before and people did enjoy it. So I thought I'd go back to my book, The 7-Day Soul, to pull out some quotes for you. So today's, I'll give you two. One is from Stephen Covey, and it says, most people never question their maps. They assume that's the way it is. They don't hold viewpoints. Their viewpoints hold them. And I think that's really quite powerful in terms of, our biases and our habitual way of seeing the world. And really, there's no more important a time than now to actually change that, as it's so necessary. And this, and even kind of higher thought, I suppose it's from the Talmud. The highest form of wisdom is kindness. So with that, I'll leave you. Hope it's useful to you. And as I say, stimulated some thoughts. Do let me know. You can comment below or email me, or whatever suits you. I think you can also follow me now on LinkedIn. But until next time, see you soon. Take care.